Today I wanted to talk about how this photograph that I took during the filming of a YouTube video ended up being an awarded photograph. Hey guys, welcome to another video. If you guys are watching my Instagram account, which it should be, because I look at it too much maybe, and I post on it much more frequently than any other social media platform. In any case, yes, if you're watching my Instagram account, some of you may know that recently I was happily a finalist at this photography competition called MSPF, which stands for Miami Street Photography Festival. This was for the singles category, which means that a single photo of mine was a finalist photo. Sadly, it didn't go further than finalist, but I'm pretty happy with the results. In addition, there's a project of mine that was also awarded a finalist in a different street photography festival in Paris, but I won't be going over that in this video. And after I posted some of these results on my Instagram account, some of you had questions about photography competitions in general. So in this video, I wanted to go through my opinion on them, my kind of relationship with them, and what I think about them. When my photography journey started about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, I was looking at, amazing or too amazing photographers, greats, as we always do, looking at Henri Cartier-Bresson and Elliot Erwitt, and then, you stumble through all these different photographers, mainly in Magnum maybe, and then, yeah, that was just how I learned photography. Those guys were my heroes, and they still are. And that led me to think, well, gradually, how do I become like them? And how do I take photos like them? And how, do you receive a reputation around photography like the people that you look up to? And I think there's two dimensions to this. You need to be a great photographer, you need to take great photos, but also people need to know that you're a great photographer. And as I was setting my goals, I would say, for my photography journey way ahead of me, I was looking into a few competitions and grants. And some of the research that I did was looking at, the people that I admired and what kind of, competitions or grants they've received in the past. And to be honest, a lot of these competitions kind of come and go. A lot of these grants and awards and competitions formed into other things or just have stopped over time. But some of them have remained as quite an historical event. And let me also add that there are just so many different types of competitions and grants, specifically for different types of photography as well. As I was learning more photography and as I kind of understood what my goals were, I figured out that the genre that I fit in at the time was so-called street photography or candid photography. And so, as I was looking into street photography competitions or more candid competitions and, these competitions that kind of fit my style, I stumbled upon a few ones, and to name them, one is, let's just say like Lens Culture. Another one is, Sony World Photography Awards, which is a little bit more on the touristy side, I would say. Not a bad thing, but it's just a different genre, again. And kind of this epitome of contemporary, way wacko, complex street photography was Miami Street Photography Festival. And the more and more I took photos, the more I learned that the people that I look up to, the people's photographs that I think were pretty fucking amazing, were not all, but a lot of them actually, they were selected as a finalist in Miami, or, they were awarded as a series or something to that extent in the past years. So that was quite a long story. What I wanted to say was that Miami Street Photography Festival and being a finalist or getting awarded something within that has actually been a very long-term goal for me. So this year, when I found out a few weeks ago that I was a finalist, I almost fucking cried. I gotta say, man, because I don't know. Everything just seems so far, I guess. When you start photography, you start as a newbie, and then look at all these amazing photographs, and it's just like there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can get close to these guys. And then you keep on taking photos, and you keep on taking photos, and you start seeing a path, but everything seems so far away. I guess everything's just like that. But yeah, I've entered the contest, I think 2 to 3 years straight. I don't remember. And yeah, finally, I got some results. I'm pretty happy. I'm not pretty happy. I'm very happy. And the big irony is that, yeah, the photograph was something that I took pretty much during the filming of a YouTube video. And as much as I have been saying that YouTube is not really improving me as a photographer, which I still agree with, it's very ironic that I took that photograph while I was filming the video. Okay, next topic. I wanted to talk about what I think is good and bad about this photograph. I wanted to honestly and openly say that I don't think this is a bad photograph. At the same time, it's not the greatest photograph. Let me explain. I think what works about this photograph is definitely the initial impact of it in itself. You have a nice looking lady looking down right between the beam of the highlight or the sun, and there's this triangular shadow going like that towards her, and you have these two other people aligned quite perfectly alongside, I mean three-dimensionally, behind this lady. The lady is a mask, kind of shows, how would you say, the society that we live in today. Has quite a nice color. It was afternoon light, very hot afternoon light, hitting an orange, yellowish orange background. So I would say yes, initial impact is very big, and it looks like an amazing photo. And yeah, I think the issue with the photo though is, and I kind of knew this before I submitted it, but I knew that because the initial impact was so strong, maybe I can get some results with it. However, yes, going back, the downsides to it, I think, is it actually lacks a certain level of complexity. The impact is strong, and if you're a type of person that kind of tries to read between the lines, you might think that, oh, it's like an expression of this generation or society that we live in today with everyone wearing masks and blah, blah, blah. All of these people are individually looking sad or I don't know, courageous or something. And yeah, maybe that can be an interpretation of the photograph. But nevertheless, I think the entire frame itself doesn't really cut it, I would say. Like, there's not much connection between everything. You know, there's three people that are walking separately. They seem kind of disconnected. There's some stuff going on in the background, but it's not really necessary to the photograph, or it doesn't convey or add on to that message that I just explained, and so on. So in a way, like at first glance, it might look like a very good photo, composed very cleanly, well, which was intentional, but yeah, the downsides are, as I explained, I think. Nevertheless, I'm not fucking complaining. Yeah, as I said, you know, when I heard the news, I don't know, I just felt so relieved, because I'll be honest and say that a lot of the goals that I have with my photography have, in the past, been very tied into understanding that I can take good photographs, or getting to that level. And that's something that I wanted to talk about after this segment. The goods and the bads of photography competitions. Speaking of photography competitions, especially if you're a newbie, you don't know which competitions to enter, you're not quite confident enough in your skills or technical skills or abilities in photography, but you might want to challenge something. You might want to win a prize, maybe. Oh, I think I'm getting better at this. And what better way than entering a competition right from your phone to the photos that you took maybe with your phone too. And so go check out C41. They're a smartphone app that you can download that has a bunch of photography competitions going on, and you can enter. And what happens is, once you enter a certain competition, if you get enough votes or good feedback from other people that are using the app, you can win a certain prize. If you're interested, go check out the link in the description below and check out C41. Thanks C41 for sponsoring this video, and let's get on with the video. Okay, let's talk about the merits of entering photography competitions. One clear and obvious merit is recognition. This is especially if you're talking about like legit competitions, or competitions that people recognize as quite prestigious. What you realize are that the judges are actually quite what would you say, esteemed, quite high-level people or photographers or art critics or whatever. So by submitting good photos, actually, good people look at your photographs, and that can create good opportunity. Another thing that happens is you can, they might, if you win the photography competition, they might exhibit your photograph in places, they might use your photograph on social media, and all these good things will happen. In that sense, yes, to an extent, you will get recognition. You will also get to write that in your resume if you're the type of person that wants to. The second merit, which I don't see personally too much, is you can go 100% full bounty hunter on it. And sometimes, these competitions have prize money, and they have, prize, gear or shit that you can win, which I think is a dumb thing. But yeah, you can do that. That sounds, I don't know if you have that kind of skill, you might be over winning that not so great prize money anyways, but yeah, that's one thing it's one way you can approach it. And the third merit that I see personally very strong in entering and winning competitions is, I would say, confidence. Yeah, let's just put it that way. See, what I mean here is art is extremely, subjective. You guys might be watching this YouTube video because you like my photography, or for some odd reason, you like my YouTube videos before my photography. However, this YouTube thing and getting people to know me through YouTube can create this delusional situation. You might be following my Instagram account or my photography because you know me or you like me. That's not a bad thing. However, that's different from being a good photographer, I think. Another thing is, as you progress as a photographer, as you take more photos, as you think you're getting better, you never know, because it is art. And art, as I said, can be very subjective. And sadly, there is always this looming feeling and thought of, wait, maybe I'm not actually that good. Or it's like, wait, maybe I actually suck. And you never know. You never know how people think too. People can be nice to you and say, oh, your photos are great. Or, or they can, they might even like your photos and be a hater and be like, oh, you suck. And you never know. So to me, photography competitions, this was one way of telling myself and understanding that I am not and was not delusional. I saw some growth in myself as a photographer, and I do think that my photographs are getting so much better over time. But again, does everyone feel that way, or is it just you that's being delusional? And to be honest, as I've won very small, competitions and asked for interviews and used for magazines and stuff like that, these were nice, great things happening to me. But these were always like not 100% to the extent or the level of which I always wanted to be at. And so, yeah, this time going back to MSPF, I was extremely happy that I was able to become a finalist, because there is a certain quality or certain level of artistry that is necessary, I think, to be at least a finalist in MSPF. If you look at their website and look at the past finalists, Jesus Christ, man, the photographs are just fucking crazy. Just, I don't know, every year, just someone thinks of and takes a photograph of something new that you've never seen before, and it always happens. And the Miami Street Photography Festival finalist images always kind of end up to be like that year's photography highlight reel in a way. Like everyone knows those photographs from somewhere usually, and usually, yeah, they become finalists in MSPF. So again, thank you very much. I'm very happy. And those were what I think are the main merits of photography competitions. Let's end with a few things that I think are iffy about photography competitions. Not necessarily demerits, but things that you can kind of question maybe. The biggest thing that I found, as you know, I was learning photography, and the more and more I was taking photos, and you know, as I said, yeah, one of the biggest goals that I had was becoming a finalist or getting awarded in one of these big competitions. But yeah, the more I learned about them, the more I see them annually and look at the results and see what's happening, I started kind of questioning myself in a way where I came to the realization gradually that, you know, obviously winning a competition or something to that extent doesn't really change you as a photographer. Like you might, and sometimes you might even just get lucky. You know, you can send a bunch of photographs that you think are good every year, and maybe something will hit, maybe. And sometimes, you know, I look at the people that win these competitions, and I go to their Instagram feed or website or whatever, and you know, sometimes, to be honest, like, you know, one of their images might be really good, but consecutively sometimes it's kind of like, actually I don't know about all these photographs, they don't really work. Well, what I want to say is that, like, again, getting something in these competitions doesn't give you a certain privilege, or doesn't knight you. You're not Sir Ulysses Aoki once you receive these things. And so I think it was funny because especially this year, as my style changed a bit and kind of gradually levitated away from traditional, I would say, street photography, I was kind of in the mindset of, you know what, like maybe street photography competitions aren't for me, because I'm slightly in a different genre right now and my approach to photography has kind of changed. So yeah, that was kind of the mindset I was in when I received the news. When I did receive it, obviously I was very happy anyways. Leads me to the next point about competitions is that there are trends in these competitions every year. Let me explain these trends. I think one thing is that, especially when it comes to single images, just because the nature of judging competitions over one photograph from that photographer, I think leads to an importance of initial impact that the photograph gives to whoever is looking at that photograph, probably a judge. So again, if you don't have that quick impact when you glance at the photograph, maybe they might not even look at it, you know? And a lot of the time, over the years that I've been looking at all these photographs, I've learned that a lot of these initial impacty photographs can sometimes be kind of gimmicky, you know? They can be heavily reliant on a certain juxtaposition, or it can be like a specific pattern that's shown in the frame, or it can be a quirky moment. And usually those are like some of the things that a lot of people go for these competitions. And to be honest, I've seen these photographs to death that a lot of these don't really interest me anymore. And that kind of goes back to the previous thing that I was talking about, like how I didn't feel like maybe winning a competition wasn't for me anymore, just because I could kind of see the trends and see what's going on in these competitions. But again, there's a difference between being able to say you were a finalist or you won a certain competition and a person that hasn't, which sucks, but yeah. So yeah, that can be your approach, and you can totally forget about competitions, and I think that's cool too. And the third point about photography competitions that I think are kind of are that many photography competitions don't really do anything for you, and I don't know, there's a lot out there these days, and that's not a bad thing. But a lot of them, you know, have to pay quite a high entry fee, and then it takes a lot of time for these procedures, and that's not a bad thing. You know, gets you thinking about your photographs. But even if you do win them, let's say, it doesn't actually do much for you. And I've had that happen in the past before, where I was, you know, selected as a finalist or honorable mention or some shit like that for some photography competitions that who the fuck cares about? And you know, when you think about the actual benefits of it, like do I think I benefit from it? I don't know. Maybe I gained 1 follower or something like that, which I don't really care about. They're just like, I don't think it's done anything for me, right? And usually it's the competition side that's benefiting more. It's either from the entry fees, or they can somehow receive the rights to use your photographs through that competition, and they use it all willy-nilly on social media and shit. So yeah, there are these downsides to this, and you have to consider looking at good competitions that matter and that people care about, and maybe even that have a history or that actually have very good benefits for you. Okay, I think I want to wrap this video up. I talked a little bit more than I expected, I think. If you are interested in submitting photographs to photography competitions, I advise you to do your own research. This is because there are just so many competitions out there that, you know, there's ought to be a few ones that fit your own style. If you're like a hardcore street photographer, you know, then yeah, these photography festival series will do you some good, I think. But yeah, if you're more art-oriented or portrait-oriented, then you need to enter different ones. And the Sony ones, or the Sony one is a little bit more travel-oriented. And yeah, what I want to say is please do your own research. But my general advice is think about where you're at with your photography. Think about where you want to be with your photography. Do the appropriate research. Don't over anticipate, but you can be somewhat committed. It's fun. Okay guys, thanks for watching another video. It's been a great year on YouTube. It's my first year pretty much, and I'm pretty happy with the results. I might look back on it in the next video, not too sure. But yeah, in any case, I'll see you guys in the next one. Merry belated Christmas, babes, and sayonara. Bye.